Hey there, folks. Brian from tokyorecordstyle, streaming from the road once more. Last place I left you off was in the town of Fujino, where I said I would introduce you to my friend RJ, who is my partner in crime on this sidecar project. And we ended up making a little video, just a short little blip rather than going live. Did the same thing at my buddy Michael Warren's house. So there's going to be a few videos that are out of order sequentially, but it should be fine. Anyway, I am still on the road, and after a lovely pit stop in both Kofu in Yamanashi Prefecture and in Fujino in Kanagawa Prefecture, I think I've been to Hyogo Prefecture, Shiga, Kyoto, Nagano, Yamanashi, Fukui. Ended up going to Fukui, Kanagawa, Tokyo, and probably Saitama, Chiba, and Ibaraki. I will have gone on to 11 prefectures by the time this trip is over, and I will have traveled some probably 1,200 or 1,200 kilometers. So it's been a long trip. It's not over yet, but I got one or two more live streams left in me. But it's getting to the end of this first chapter where I've gone to pick up the bike and deliver it to the next iteration of this story. So yeah, I had an amazing pit stop in Kofu where my doglog co-host Michael Warren put me up for a little bit and fed me some amazing curry, and I hung out with his dogs, Leo and Louie, and then I went and hung out with my friend RJ with his kid Louie. RJ has a son named Louie, and Michael has a dog named Louie. So yeah, wonderful, refreshing pit stops in both places. And then Fujino, as I've just kind of keep talking ad nauseum, that is one of my really favorite places to go to in, like within an hour's drive worth of in Tokyo. Within an hour's drive of Tokyo, it's this really awesome place, and it's so close and it's so nice, and there's just all these cafes and all these like little burger places and coffee places, and it's all sort of like, they have the little bubbler things, and they make coffee a bunch of different ways, and guys real proud of their burgers, and like Airstreams on the side of the road. It's really cool. And people like living off the grid in various capacities. Some of them are like really off the grid. I just heard about this guy who's got like an earth ship, and he's built his entire house from the ground up, and there's some cool schools out there, and I would love to be out there for part of the time. So but anyway, Fujino was a wonderful pit stop. I got drenched in the rain. The sneakers that I had that were completely drenched to the core, where it was like that level of drenched. I rode them home, still kind of wet. I didn't stick them in the dryer or anything, and they managed to dry, by the way, that by the time they're home. And now I'm wearing them with socks again. And by the way, look at this bad boy. Look at this bad boy sunburn. How you like that? That's from exposed leg. You don't think that you're gonna get sunburned on your leg when you're wearing long pants, but if your pants are kind of rolled up hipster style like mine always are, then you got to be careful not to get your leg sunburned. So on my way to Ibaraki, I actually have to pass right by my house. So I stopped off and recharged my batteries and had a shower and had a few bites, and my son needed a little ride to meet up with his buddies, and so I rode him in the sidecar, which was really, really cool, and he was loving it. He was really, really loving it. I'll share some photos of it later. He was stoked. Hey, Spinning Grooves in the house. What's up, Spinning Grooves? I'm just blogging here, continuing to log from the road. There's some people waiting on me in Ibaraki, so I can't go on too long. But just wanted to keep the storytelling going and say that, yeah, lovely evening, with the exception of getting soaked to the bone. But somebody left a comment on one of my videos that said, like, the founder of Patagonia said something to the effect of, it's not an adventure until something goes wrong. So something definitely went wrong last night. And I'm just remembering this kind of like endearing parking lot full of like soaked dudes on motorcycles, and everybody just had this like shit-eating grin on their face. It was so fun and hilarious and stupid, and just, it's like one of those sort of Darwin Award moments where there's just a bunch of yahoos out defying death. And yeah, super fun. So yeah, I've got some thoughts going on in my mind that I'm like, I want to just tell you what's going on, but I kind of want I'm working towards something, and I'm really excited. Like, you guys, I hope you can feel the excitement, because I've got something really fun planned. It's going to become like a really interesting story, and I don't think one that you've heard before. And I'm so excited. So I'm going to keep you there's going to be like cliffhangers here, and I'm not going to reveal the thing until it's really revealed. But, and maybe you'll say in the end, we waited all this time for that. And maybe I'll be like, oh, I thought it was going to be, I don't know, like could go sideways. Nobody knows. We're venturing into uncharted waters here. But yeah, no risk, no reward. So we'll see what happens. And maybe the motorcycle and sidecar and Tokyo record style gods will be shining down upon us. Nice, dude. Right on, right on, right on. One person's opinion, that parking lot scene was bizarre. Yeah, it was pretty intense. I got rained on. That was kind of like how not to do. I mean, there is something interesting about like live streaming from the road, to have this sort of like serialized, okay, I'm reporting back, and like you're following like kind of a play-by-play story. I didn't set out to do that, but I'm trying to think if I've seen something like that before. Maybe I haven't. Maybe there's an interesting thread here. I don't think I'd be able to keep this up if it weren't just me lone wolfing by myself across the country. I could have done it when I was 20 something, before I was married and with kids, but this format of like, yeah, you make videos and you put them out and you can follow people's story along, but the live stream, we're like, okay, next move is here. We haven't calculated this. It's all just flying by the seat of our pants. It's kind of a new little thing, maybe. It's kind of fun. It was like a scene from the movie The Road, says one person's opinion. I don't know the movie The Road, but yes, it was torrential downpouring. It was amazing. It was, it was humbling. And there was no, even like, it was one of those things where it's like, even if you were under the tree or under a bridge, it's just like, it was coming from every which way. And you couldn't help but sort of, laugh at it. Confederacy of dunces, folly of mankind, just to be out there. But it had a little Captain Dan moment. Is this all you got for me? Woohoo! I'm like waving the flag. It was awesome. Hey, Mazzy, chiming in, I think for the first time on this like 5-day adventure. Don't you ever sleep? I'm about to crash. Yeah, man. Oyasu yeah, go to sleep, Mazzy. I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's what I say, which may be very soon. But I was talking about this with my buddy RJ. There's a great lyric from a Jeff Lewis song that I really love. I can't identify with it, I can say, but it's I don't fall asleep, I ascend to it. I don't fall asleep, I ascend to it. It's a really cool lyric about ascending to sleep rather than falling to sleep. But I don't ascend to sleep, I don't fall to sleep, I crash. My brain goes click, 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 and it's like, okay, we're done, game over, it's over, sleep time. And I instantly am in the deepest sleep. And then I wake up and I'm like, I don't like to sleep. I really don't. It's like, I'd rather be doing stuff. I don't really actually enjoy sleep. I'm not one of these people who like can sleep in. as soon as my eyes are open, I'm ready to do my things. I got stuff to do. I got places to go. I got people to see. I got, you know, that's the way I live. And they say sleep is so important. And yeah, if you want to live a long life of seeing lots of people and going lots of places, and yeah, you should get more sleep. But I'm admittedly not very good at it. I was talking about Einstein the other day. Again, not to compare myself to Einstein, but he apparently didn't sleep very much. And he said something, I read something about that he would take these naps where he'd be working on something really hard, and he'd take like a 30-second nap, I think I read, or it was like some ridiculously short amount of time. And I seem to manage to be able to do that. I seem to be able to just boom, ready to go. Here we go again. I'm not proud of it, but it is my, I wish I was one of these calculated persons, I wish I was one of these I managed my finances and I made plans, and it wasn't just constant chaos, but that is chaos. Mazzy says, I love 8 hours, but get 6 to 7 and wake up. I can't nap. Yeah. They're not naps per se. They're just interludes. They're fleeting interludes of, I don't know, some kind of deep state. I don't exactly know what they are, but I can't achieve them. We were actually talking about the act of falling to sleep, and RJ was telling me that he's trained his brain to remember the last thought that he had, and then the last thought that he had, and then the last thought that he had, until he can no longer remember the last thoughts, and that's when he knows he's asleep, or something silly like that. And then I was saying that I also have these. I'll occasionally. What am I doing? I'm just rambling. I make videos instead of napping. Yes, Mazzy, you make videos, dude. I am envious of your video making machine ability. I am very much in envy of your bandwidth, I think, that you have. If I had it, I would do it, I think, all the time. I just love, I totally can relate, I think, to, Mazzy's gets a lot of flack for like being exposed, I would say. I don't know if that's exactly, just being out there, and putting himself out there. He owns it, and I admire how he owns it, but I want to be out there as much as I can. I like being out there. I don't know if I don't want to be perceived as like a narcissist, obviously, but I also, and I'd be lying if I said that I didn't care what people thought about me, but because I want to be liked. I mean, we all want to be liked, but at the same time, I don't really care if you don't like my live streams or not. I want to make them for you, but they're really not for you, unless they are for you and me, and then we're on the same page. And if they're not for you, move along. Just go ahead and move right along. There's lots more content out there for you to watch, And maybe I'm doing it all wrong, but I'm doing it my way, and I'm doing it. And so if you're not doing something, and then you're claiming that I'm doing my thing the wrong way, then I won't even dignify your critique of me with a response. Really, that's generally my take. Okay, well, where did we go there? I just wanted to say, we got a little more. Where I'm going right now, I'm off to Ibaraki, which is north of Chiba. I've gone from the far west, not the far west, but I've traveled, as I said, quite a ways across the central Honshu, the central main island of Japan's 4 islands: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu. And I've traveled, and Honshu is by far the biggest, and I've traveled, I'd say, I don't know, a third of it. I made some pretty good ground. And I just see everybody driving past the sidecar, and they're all looking at it. And so this is the last leg of the journey, and I'm gonna go up to drop off the bike. And like I said, I gotta get on the road so these guys aren't upset. They've actually made a special circumstances to come and get me, or come and let me drop the motorcycle off with them. It's the fabricator dude. The garage is where I'm gonna take it, and where they're gonna have some fun with it. And And yeah, I'll come on in a couple hours time again, and if I have something to riff on, I will. It won't be optimal time for a lot of you who will be sound asleep, but for those maybe in, I don't know, if you've woken up in the middle of the night, or if you're in Europe or on our time zone, maybe my Australian friends, you guys can chime in and we can have another little chat. And we're nearing the end of chapter 1. So to be continued. Thanks for being here. Massey, appreciate you chiming in. I hadn't seen you in a while, so it was nice to hear your voice. Spinning grooves and one person's opinion. And cheers to anybody who's watching this. I hope you're enjoying. Leave a comment, not just in the chat, but leave a comment on the video, and let's keep the conversation going. I really want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear, I want to hear what you think of this whole thing. What, am I making a fool of myself? I'm definitely getting sunburned. I'm definitely sunburning myself. That is one thing I'm definitely doing. So without further ado, off to more sunburning. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.